Morning, welcome to Kings at Home Daily. My name is Steve. I'm one of the leaders based at City West. If you're part of the King's Church family, morning, good welcome, great to have you with us. From City Centre, Mark Cross, hello. If you're looking in from outside, we're a church based in Norwich and doing these dailies really just done it since the beginning of lockdown 1. Gosh, that was a long time ago. Just really a morning devotional together. And we are in the Gospel of John this morning, at the end of chapter 19. So if you have a Bible, why don't you find your way to chapter 19, verse 38. And Jesus, just to catch you up on the story, if you've not been following with us recently, or you missed a few days, or whatever, Jesus has been crucified. Okay, now we pick it up in verse 38. Later, Joseph of Arimathea asked Pilate for the body of Jesus. Now Joseph was a disciple of Jesus, but secretly because he feared the Jewish leaders. With Pilate's permission, he came and took the body away. He was accompanied by Nicodemus, the man who earlier had visited Jesus at night. Nicodemus brought a mixture of myrrh and aloes and about 35 kilograms. That's quite a bit. Taking Jesus' body, the two of them wrapped it with spices in strips of linen. This was in accordance with the Jewish burial customs. At the place where Jesus was crucified there was a garden, and in the garden a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid, because it was the Jewish day of preparation, and since the tomb was nearby, they laid Jesus there. So just a few verses for us this morning, and I want to just draw out a couple of points for us from there this morning. Interestingly, isn't it? You've got Joseph of Arimathea and Nicodemus, and it says, in verse 38, he was a disciple, but secretly because he feared the Jewish leaders. And in fact, taking the going to get the body of this tried and Jesus has been tried and then crucified, going to get his body, he wouldn't have won himself any friends, would he? Amongst the Jews and so on. He would not have, become a bit of a pariah, wouldn't he? Having gone and done this, and yet he goes and does it, and so he's not won himself any friends. And Nicodemus, if you remember the story back in John 3, Nicodemus, this man, he's a Pharisee and a member of the council, and he comes to see Jesus at night because he doesn't want to be, doesn't want to be seen, and wants to, but nonetheless he comes exploring, doesn't he? He comes asking Jesus questions, how can someone be born again, and things like that, and Jesus tells him. And yet here at the end of chapter 19 we see this man Nicodemus and Joseph of Arimathea, a disciple, but doing it, secret because he'd feared the Jewish leaders. We see these men changed by encountering Jesus, and I guess that's my point this morning. Really, is when you encounter Jesus, life is not the same, is it? It changes. It comes at a cost. You look at these guys; it would have cost them. They would have. We're not told what happened to them after this, but it would have cost them, wouldn't it? Socially, maybe status. Friends, it would have cost them, and so it is with for us, isn't it? For the follower of Jesus, for the Christian, it costs. Sometimes it will cost relationships, friends, social standing, status, all these things. It can cost those things, what people think of us, but also it changes us. Like Nicodemus, it changes us. There, he back in. Chapter 3, when he came to see Jesus in the dark, it wasn't just in the dark, but he was kind of spiritually dark, wasn't he? And here, though, it's not doing it in the darkness. So he's spiritually out of darkness. So same is true for you and I, that we're no longer, if we know and follow Jesus, we're no longer walking in spiritual darkness, but we're following Jesus. We're in the light. We get to know and follow and be in relationship with him. So that's all this morning, really, just a kind of short one, a bit of a narrative, but just a provocation, really, that knowing Jesus, it changes us. It changes you and me. We're not the same, but it comes at a cost. We shouldn't be surprised at that when we're faced with decisions, when we're faced with dilemmas, that sometimes following Jesus comes at a cost. It comes at a cost of of taking the seemingly difficult option, seemingly hard road, sometimes at the cost of these things. But that's the nature of being a follower of Jesus. We're never shortchanged in that. We're never there's no sense of regret or we chose the wrong option there, because ultimately knowing and following Jesus leads to a fulfillment, a joy that nothing else, no status, no relationship, nothing else can ever fulfill. So hope that provokes and encourages you this morning, and see you soon.